Hi, I'm Anthony from Sydney Backyard Veggies. Just over here at my tomato patch. These were planted about 5 weeks ago, and they're just starting to show their first set of flowers, so they're looking absolutely amazing at the moment. Today's video, I'm going to show you how I went about giving them their initial prune, and then how I went through and staked the tomatoes to make sure they're supported for this season. So I'm over here at my tomatoes, and this is the tomato crop that I planted about 4 weeks ago, and I've got 10 plants in this row here. What I have planted is, on the left hand side, the variety is called Thunder, and on the right hand side the variety is called Dankia. Now these are slicing tomato, medium size, probably about 200 grams, and what I like about them is that they're quite early ripening, which is great for me. I can get them out and pick before the fruit fly set in, which is a common problem here in Sydney in about January. So what I'm going to do is come through and prune these tomatoes, show you how it's done, and we'll go from there. So now I'm at my tomatoes. I just wanted to quickly explain before I start pruning what I'm looking for, and just explain the different parts of my plant. So obviously these are the leaves. These bits here are called the side shoots, and that's the cluster of flowers that I've got here. Now, when I prune my tomatoes, what I like to do is to get rid of everything essentially up to the first bunch of flowers. But what I like to do is try to look at growing out 3 litres. I don't like to prune down to a single litre, simple because I'm a home grower and I do want the quantity of fruit over size. So when I come to prune, I am literally pruning everything up to that first flower. So starting from the bottom, anything that's first touching the floor, I am removing. So any of these side shoots, as you can see there, using shears that I've got here, I'm removing any of the side shoots, and I'm moving the lower flowers, what I'm doing at the moment. Likewise this one here. And as I'm moving up the plant, I am removing any of those side shoots. Now as I'm coming here, I want to keep this leader here. This one's the closest one to the flowers. This is my main leader, but this is my second side leader. Now I do ideally want to remove this leaf and this leaf, but still probably a bit early at this stage. But what I do want to do is remove that side shoot, which I'm using there. And then what I'll use is using these 2 leaves, I will use these 2 leaves to tie it to the stakes that I'm going to be putting out at the moment. And as this plant gets larger, I will then train the leaders onto the stake. Now I'm going to keep this leader. I'm going to definitely keep this as the main, but I may even look, as you can see here, there's actually a 3rd leader probably starting there, which I'll look at keeping as well. So as I come through the months, I will show you how I end up keeping an extra 2 or 3 extra leaders just to grow out the plant. So when this is done, I need to come through and stake it. So I'm over at my next tomato, and again using the same principles, I am looking at pruning everything up to the flower, and I'm looking at keeping, so you can see it there, there's the flower, keeping that first side shoot as the second leader that I'm growing out. So anything that's touching the floor at this stage comes off, so I'll take those, put these ones at the back. And as I'm moving up, I will get rid of this side shoot and leaf. Now, again, as I'm coming across, I will keep this leaf here at the moment. Even though it is touching the soil, I do need the leaf to support and you'll see when I support it against the stake. But I will get rid of that side shoot, and I will get rid of this side shoot at the moment. But at this stage, that's pruned. I will come back and give them a stake. I'm going to continue pruning. I might show you how I prune one more, and then I'll come through and show you how I stake them. Continuing along the row, doing the same exercise, removing the lower leaves, removing the lower shoots, again removing these lower shoots and the leaves that are touching the floor. As I'm going up, I'll remove this side shoot and this leaf, and now I look at my plant. I identify that that's my second leader, that's my main leader. I will get rid of the side shoot over here and this side shoot. But at this stage, again, I am keeping this leaf and this leaf, which I'll get rid of later. I will come back in another few days, every few days, to come and prune these. But at the moment I'm using these, leave them on, and I'm going to continue through the row. So I'm ready to go and stake my tomatoes, but before I start that, I just want to quickly go through what I use for this task. So firstly, I like to use timber stakes. I like to go for 1.8 meter high stakes. The longer the stakes, the better. It gives me the opportunity to stake my plants further. I like to use cotton strips, so old t-shirts, old bed sheets, stuff like that. I find that they do last quite well in the sun. They're quite gentle on the plants, and it's just a good, easy, economic way that's environmentally friendly, if you want for a better word, and it's just easy to have. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to go through and show you how I stake my tomatoes and where I think about positioning where I put my stakes at this stage. So when it comes to staking my tomatoes, I like to look at the opportunity to separate the two main leaders as far as possible. So I try to get 1 leader to go to this side and 1 leader to grow to this side. So at the moment I've got 1 leader coming across to here, and my second leader is probably landing over at the back end. So what I try to do is, rather than putting the stake hard up against the root ball, I'll be looking at locating my stakes normally in this location and possibly in this location. So you'll see I will put the first stake, I will locate it in approximately this location. Now this looks like it's a bit too far from the plant and how I'm going to support it, but this is where those leaves that I kept long came in. So now I can tie this leaf here to the stake and it will support it no problem. So what I'll do is, with my cables, my cloth, sorry, I will come through and just gently tie that tomato leaf to the stake, and that's now supported. I will install the second stake here along the back. I'll just put it in right now. Again, the soil's here is quite soft still, so I don't need to bang it in, but you can if you like. And then tying it off. And now that's staked. So just to give you another view from this end, you can see that I've got that stake, 1 stake's on the left here, and then I've got the other stake on the right. And you can see I've tied the leaf to the stake. At this stage it's fine, but what will happen eventually, as this plant keeps growing, this leader will actually come and catch and reach this stake, and then I will end up tying it to this stake. Likewise, this leader will come along and I'll be at that stake. So that's perfectly fine for now. Okay, coming over to the next tomato, again I've got my 2 leaders. I've got my leader here and my next leader here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a stake here on the left in front of the camera here, and then 1 at the back. And what I'll do is I'll eventually train this this leader across to that stake. So bring in my stake in, bring it straight in the ground. And my second stake, I'll bring it over and I'll put it at this corner here. You see that? Now what I'll do, using my pieces of material, I will generally just tie the leaf to the plant like so. That's just to give it some initial support now until the leaders grow. And likewise, I'll tie the other leaf to the other post. There you have it. One supported, staked and pruned tomato. While there is still a little bit of light left around, I'm just going to finish off staking these tomatoes. So I'm just going to just quickly come through, tie these leaves to the stakes, and finish off this exercise. So I've just finished off staking these tomatoes and pruning them, and I'm glad I'm done. It's almost dusk, so I'm gonna have to call it a day, but they're looking absolutely amazing. These staking will keep them in good stead for the next few days, and I will come back through again and give them a prune and just make sure they're not overgrown their current staking arrangement. And I will continually moving the ties to make sure that these tomatoes are fully supported. So I'm going to come out tomorrow morning and see what else I need to do in these tomatoes, but at this stage they're good, so call it a day now, and yeah, I'll leave them to it.